Shabbat Shalom. We are back.
Oh, yeah.
Continuing with our look at the annual Torah portion. This week we are in Tissa. When you take, which is Exodus 30, verse 11, all the way up through 34 and verse 35. Exodus 30, 11 through 34 and verse 35. We talked a little bit about the first half of this Torah portion. The significant points that we want to deal with here. We talked about a little bit the golden calf. The Most High tells Moshe, and Moshe pleads for the forgiveness of the people. If we look at Exodus 32, 15 through 19, we see that Moses actually judges the people. The same people that he wanted to have mercy, or the Most High to have mercy on, he brought judgment on the people after he actually saw what it was that the people were doing. He had so much things to say about the people in their defense all the way up until the time that he actually saw what it was that they was doing over there. It's interesting when we think about the golden calf situations. There are, when you look at Israel's trek through the wilderness, kind of these pivot moments, these things that happen that are kind of big changes, big pivot moments happen. This, I think, is one of those moments. When you think about the fact that when we look at Levi, up to this point when Moses was receiving the instructions for the tabernacle and the people, while he was away, so long that the people decided that they wanted to make a golden calf. But while he was away, getting all of these instructions, for the priests, you think about how much information the people had about what, Moses, if he was gone, he's gone, he's up in the mountain, he's getting all of these things for these 40 days that he's gone, he's getting all of this information. The people back not knowing exactly what it is that is going on. And so as we're reading it, it's like we know what is what's being talked about. But if we think about it in terms of the people, they don't know. And so when you think about Levi, for instance, when Moshe comes down and he sees the people and what they're doing, and he's pronouncing judgment upon the people, and when he says, who's on the Most High side, and Levi says, we're on his side. It's interesting that the rabbis, when they talk about the Levites at this time, they exclude them from the golden calf situation, as if they weren't part of all of the shenanigans that happened. And
their leader was.
Even though the leader was, I don't know what the situation was. I'm just saying what it is that they say, which kind of justifies their ability to just be able to just say, we're on the Most High side and be part of the ones who are executing the judgment against all of the people. And so when we look at the remainder of chapter 32 and you get into chapter 33, we see that because of this transgression that the people had, you know, they do get the Most High puts a plague on the people. So we have the people that were actually that got the sword taken to them by the Levites, and there's a plague that's put on the people. The Most High says that He is going to continue on with the journey into the land, but He says that He's going to send a angel, a messenger, to lead the way. And Moses, let's go to 30, let's look at 32 and 34. 32, there's a lot to go over that I want to go over. I'm going to go over it all because I don't want to, I talk about it in other places, but I want to talk about it again.
I want to talk about it.
Go to 32 and 34. Exodus 32, 34.
And now go, lead the people to the place of which I have spoken to you. See, my messenger goes before you, and in the day of my visitation, I shall visit their sin upon them.
Okay, very good. So it's interesting when we look at this verse. This is something that Moshe is upset about. Moshe is upset about this because he wants the Most High to lead him into the Most High and the presence of the Most High to lead him into the land. Not an angel, not a messenger, right? And the Most High is like, these people, they wicked, so I can't be with these people, right? I can't, I'm still gonna send you there. I'm going to send my messenger there. Some of the commentators want to kind of de-spiritualize, if that's a word, this angel, this messenger, and just say that it's Moses. But when you go back and look from the time that we have the Ten Commandments given and Moses goes into the mountain to speak with the Most High, you only have the Most High speaking to Moses. And so if the Most High is speaking to Moses and he's saying, I'm going to send my angel to go before you, but he's talking about Moses, that don't quite make much sense to me. But Moses, and then it don't make sense with the fact that Moses he's upset about this judgment that is upon the people. Because if we go further, if we look at the next chapter 33, we see that, so at this point, we have the instructions for the tabernacle, but the tabernacle is not built. The place where the Most High's presence is going to dwell is not built, but as of right now, the presence of the Most High dwells over Moses' tent. So Moses goes to his tent, which is outside of the camp, which is what it says in the scriptures. It's his tent, it's outside of the camp, and Moses goes and visits his tent, and he visits the Most High outside of his tent. And so Moses at this time really has the quintessential relationship with the Most High that Moses desires for the whole nation to have. But they obviously don't have it because of the situations that's going on and their sin. So if we go over to chapter 33 and verse 10. What's that say?
And all the people saw the column of cloud standing at the tent door, and all the people rose and bowed themselves, each one at the door of his tent.
Right, not of the tabernacle tent, the tent of meeting, where it's going to be, where the Most High's presence will be after they make it. But this is at Moses' tent, right? What verse was that?
10.
What do 11 say?
Thus Yahweh spoke to Moshe face to face,
That's what I wanted.
as a man speaks to his friend, and he would return to the camp, but his servant Yehoshua, son of Nun, a young man, did not leave the tent.
Okay, so it talks about the fact that the Most High speaks to Moses face to face. And so I want to go down because of this thing that happens with the golden calf situation, the Most High says, I'm going to send a messenger to lead you. He's going to be my representative. He's going to lead you in. Moses is like, please, I don't want this. I want your presence. And so if we go down, I want to look at a few of these verses here. Exodus 33. Let's look at Exodus 33, 12 and 13.
All right, Exodus chapter 33 and 12. And Moshe said to Yahweh, see, you are saying to me, bring up this people, but you have not made known to me whom you would send with me, though you have said, I know you by name, and you have also found favor in my eyes. And now, please, if you have found favor in your eyes, please show me your way and let me know you, so that I find favor in your eyes and consider that this nation is your people.
Okay, very good. And so we have a situation where the way that the Most High is dealing with Israel is almost like you have Moses, he deals face to face with Elohim, and then you got Israel, who's like Moses' people. Like the Most High is Moses' Elohim. And then there's Israel, these stiff-necked people. But Moses wants for the people to be able to have the relationship with the Most High like he has, but the Most High is like, nah, they just, they ain't right. Right? There's a situation, we already have the situation of sin, right? And so because of these ways about the people, it's making it be kind of more of a separation, right? And so Moses is pleading with the Most High, if we have this thing like you say that we have, can we have the people be included into this situation like what we have? And then, so keep on reading down through 19.
And he said, my presence does go, and I shall give you rest. And he said to him, if your presence is not going, do not lead us up from here. For how then shall it be known that I have found favor in your eyes, I and your people, except you go with us? Then we shall be distinguished, I and your people, from all the people who are upon the face of the earth. And Yahweh said to Moshe, even this word you have spoken I shall do, for you have found favor in my eyes, and I know you by name. Then he said, please show me your esteem. And he said, I shall cause all my goodness to pass before you, and I shall proclaim the name of Yahweh before you, and I shall favor him who I favor, and shall have compassion on whom I have compassion.
Okay, very good. So the Most High now agrees. He says, okay, I agree. I'll do what you want. I'll lead you with my presence. And Moshe is like, well, can you prove to me by showing me your glory, your kavod? The scriptures version says your esteem. We talked about kavod a little bit. You think about the idea of kavod, which literally means weight. We know that the glory of the Most High is light. Kavod has the idea of weight and light. We talked about the fact that, when we think about light, we don't think about it in terms of its weight, but when we think about the presence of the Most High, which is interesting, which we'll see as we continue to go forward, we have this description of this intangible thing that is described in a way that involves things that are tangible, like light and weight. I don't know if I asked you this already, my resident scientist, about whether light, does light have weight?
They have mass. We can talk about it as if they have mass. Whatever those are.
So it does have weight. You're saying, you won't say weight, you say, but it has mass, but you won't say it has weight. Which
It interacts with knowledge.
You still won't say it. The glory of the Most High, though, does. And so what I want to focus in on is that Moses says, show me your glory, show me your kavod. And the Most High says, I shall cause all my goodness to pass before you. And so he already said he was going to do what Moses is saying. And so if Moses is saying, please show me your kavod, it leads me to believe that when the Most High says that I shall cause all my goodness to pass before you, that is his kavod, his kavod. Unless he's giving them something that he didn't ask for. And so now when the Most High, when Moses says, let me see your glory, let me see your kavod, the Most High said, I shall cause my goodness to pass before you, and I shall proclaim the name of Yahweh before you. To me, those are two things that are happening. And then once I understand the fullness of how it happens, it seems as if in 19, it helps us to understand what's further on, where I think in 19, he's saying, my glory is my goodness. I'm going to send my glory, which is my goodness, to pass before you. And I'm going to protect you by my word. That's what I think is going to happen.
The words is protecting.
I think that he's saying, I shall cause my goodness to pass before you, and I shall proclaim the name before you. I think, based on what we're getting ready to look at, that what he's talking about here is that he is going to protect Moses from the goodness, which is the glory, by the proclaiming of his name before you. I think he told us what he was getting ready to do before he tells us.
And the reason being that his glory is powerful.
It's so powerful, right? It's holy. It's his essence. It's who he is. Right? If we look at read verse 20.
He said, but he said, you are unable to see my face, for no man does see me and live.
Okay, very good. Now, even though this is the same word, panim, face, and then when we see that up in verse 11, where it says that I speak to Moses face to face, panim al panim, face to face, even though it's the same word, it's not the same situation. if I'm talking about dealing with you face to face, it's kind of euphemistically speaking. He don't see the face of Most High. It's dealing with the closeness of the relationship between Moses and Moses and the Most High. The Most High gets on Miriam and Aaron later because he says about Moses, when I speak to Moses, I speak to him face to face. Panim al panim, face to face. Moses don't need nobody to say what it was that Moses had said. He's not foggy about what it is that the Most High was revealing to him. He gives it to him straight, and he understands exactly what it is that the Most High said. And so when we think about this idea of face to face, it don't literally mean like face to face. It's speaking of the relationship, because in verse 20 he said nobody's able to see my face. Nobody's able to see, but verse 20 is in relation to what he just got finished saying in 19 in terms of all of his goodness. So when we think about all of his goodness, all of his essence, all of his glory, his esteem, nobody's able to look at that, the unadulterated presence of the Most High, and live. Because he's too holy. Right? It's simple mathematics. The positive cancels out the negative. Right? It's scientific, right? The good cancels out, the plus cancels out the negative. Right? When you got so much exponential amount of positive over a finite number of negative, the big one cancels out the little one. Right?
I think what his glory actually is, we're not made to fully comprehend it. We're not none of our senses can fully get what all he is encompassed of. So it's really is outside of our dimension. He made us in his image, but he's outside of everything. So he comes down to our level.
Yes.
We can't go up to his level in this form.
Yes.
Only you gotta be spiritual. You gotta go. That's why he say you can't live.
Yes.
You can't be in this body and perceive him with your eyes and all that. And not in this form.
Yes.
So.
And above that, what you're saying, above that, and the representation of himself that he makes palatable enough to interact in this physical situation, that's too powerful too. Because he can't even look at the Most High. The scriptures say that the Most High, the heavens of heavens, cannot contain him. The things that we are seeing are things that we are able to, that we're able to see. And so he's showing us himself in a way that's understandable by us. And so, but when we look at this over here, the thing that he showed, that he's showing Moses, that thing is too powerful for Moses. So we know in order for it to even get in the bubble of reality, it got to be something that fits inside of the confines of reality, of our reality. But that thing that's already, for lack of a better word, watered down representation of the fullness, he can't even see that thing. And so let's keep on going, because there's some things that we see over here that point us towards Yeshua. Yeshua, when he talks to his disciples, one of the last lessons that he gives to his disciples, he goes back and he says, I'm going to show you all of the places where I'm at in the Torah and in the writings. When he criticizes the Pharisees, he says to them, you read of Moses, so you read of me. So when we look at the Torah, we're supposed to, he expected for them to learned people to be able to see Messiah in the Torah. Yeshua specifically, not Messiah as an idea, but Yeshua himself. And so this actually is one of those situations. Because again, I'm saying that verse 19 is preparing us to see that he's bringing his glory, and he's going to also, before the glory, to help shield it, is his proclamation or his word. All right, look at Exodus 33, 21 through 23.
And Yahweh said, see, there is a place with me, and you shall stand on the rock. And it shall be, when my esteem passes by, that I shall put you in the cleft of the rock and cover you with my hand while I pass by. Then I shall take away my hand, and you shall see my back, but my face shall not be seen.
Okay, very good. So his face, or the fullness, or the unadulterated representation of his essence won't be seen, but the back of it will be seen. And so if we was to think about it as like a ball of light going past, you would see the tail of it, like after it already went by, the residue of it, right? But 21, there's this place that's with me, or this place that's by me. And you'll stand on the rock. And so first of all, let's just deal with the fact that Romans says that the whole creation groans and waiting for the coming of, what did I say in Romans chapter 8? Because I don't want to butcher it. What did I say in Romans chapter 8? The whole creation groans for, I don't know specifically what that is. Somebody say what that verse is. It's Romans 8 and it's after 16.
19.
19, what does it say?
It says, for the intense longing of the creation eagerly awaits for the revealing of the sons of Elohim.
All creation. Hold on, what do it say above that?
Verse
Hold
8,
on, what do it, you just read, which verse you read?
19, so I'll read 18. 19? Oh, my bad. Bigger. Try to make it bigger.
19. Yeah, read 19 through 21.
For the intense longing of the creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of Elohim, for the creation was subjected to futility, not from choice, but because of him who subjected it, in anticipation that the creation itself also shall be delivered from the bondage to corruption into the esteemed freedom of the children of Elohim.
Yes, very good. So I'm saying that everything in this place is something wrong with it. Nothing in this place is operating in the way that it's supposed to.
Yep.
The whole creation is deteriorating and is waiting for the redemption of everything. Mm-hmm. And so how this rock gonna block the Most High's presence? It ain't no holier than Moses. It's deteriorating too. So how's just a regular rock gonna be the thing that blocks the glory? I mean, the word literally means rock. It means rock. But let's think about things like, what do it say in 1 Samuel 2:2? 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 2.
There is no one set apart like Yahweh, for there is no one beside you, and there is no rock like our Elohim.
Interesting. All right, very good. What do 1 Corinthians 10:4 say? First of all, there ain't nothing beside the Most High, but then it also talks about the rock of salvation, but it is the Most High. All right, what does 1 Corinthians 10:4 say?
And all drank the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed, and the rock was Messiah.
Interesting. Okay, so I think that the rock is pointing us towards Messiah. It's pointing us towards Yeshua. So you go over here, there's this place that's by me. I mean, is he talking about this place on the mountain where Moses is, where the presence of the Most High is visiting? Or is he pointing us towards something greater, which is Messiah? And so as my glory passes by, I'll put you in this place that is this cleft of this rock and cover you with my hand. And so when we think about the hand of the Most High, the hand of the Most High is that thing that he already talked about in terms of the thing that delivers the people from Egypt, who we also think about as Messiah, Yeshua. And so we see this hand, this rock, and this hand that are collaborating in the protection of Moses as the glory of the Most High passes by. I'm saying that this is talking about Messiah. It's talking about Yeshua, right? And so let's go over to the next chapter where this thing actually happens. Okay, Exodus 34, 5-7. And so he said what was going to happen. He said, Moses, I'm going to stick you in this rock, in this cleft of this rock. The glory's going to go past. I'm going to block you with my hand. And then I'm going to let the glory go past. And you'll see my back. You'll see the residue of what happened. And so read Exodus 34, 5-7.
And Yahweh came down in the cloud and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name Yahweh. And Yahweh passed before him and proclaimed Yahweh, Yahweh, and El, compassionate, and showing favor, patient, and great in loving commitment and truth, watching over loving commitment for thousands, forgiving crookedness and transgressions and sin, but by no means leaving unpunished, visiting the crookedness of the fathers upon the children and the children's children to the third and the fourth generation.
Okay, very good. So let's think about all of the things that are going on over here. First of all, you have what it says, the Most High descended in the cloud and stood with Moses. Well, he said he was going to do. He said he was going to put his hand by him. So he said his hand was going to be the thing that was covering him. And so when we see the manifestation of that, it looks like the Most High descending out of the cloud and standing there by him. Because again, we got what he said he was going to do before, and then now what's actually happening. Because if we go all the way back, right in 19, he said, I'm going to cause my glory to pass by, and I'm going to proclaim my name. And so Exodus 34 and 5, where he said that he's going to descend from the cloud, he's going to stand there with you, proclaiming the name. So if the Most High standing there, and he's standing there and he's proclaiming the name. So he's standing there proclaiming the name of the Most High. Yahweh standing by Moses, proclaiming the name of Yahweh as the Yahweh's passing by. And he's in the cleft being protected by the hand. Isn't he being protected by Yahweh that's standing next to him, proclaiming the word of Yahweh next to him? I'm just saying, that's what it looks like.
Layered protection.
That's how I'm visualizing it in my mind. To me, I see the Most High standing next to Moses, proclaiming the name of Yahweh as the glory of Yahweh passes by. He's protecting Moses by his word. And the words that he's saying is the character of the Most High: compassion and graciousness, and slow to anger, and abundant in kindness, truth, a preserver of kindness, a forgiver of iniquity and transgression and sin, and pardoning and merciful, not taking retribution, and a cleanser of iniquity. These are all characteristics, attributes of the Most High that Yahweh standing next to Moses saying as the glory is going by. And so when we think about what it is that Messiah does for us, he puts us in a position where we're able to receive what it is that the Most High has to give us. He's the go-between. He prepares us and readies us to be able to be in the presence of the Most High. We're able to boldly go before the throne of grace because of Yeshua, because of the word of Elohim. And so it's interesting when we look at this over here, the whole thing is being spelled out for us, just like that. I mean, that's how I see it there anyway. What do you think about that? Anything? Or nothing?
I'm wondering, so you're saying that y'all, like you said, in 34:7, watching over the Lord forgiveness for thousands, forgiving wickedness and transgressions and sins, but by no means leaving unpunished. So he's forgiving all of this, but he's not leaving it unpunished. So what is the punishment? So I'm confused. So he's forgiven all of that stuff, but he said by no means leaving unpunished. So is it that I'm thinking that forgiveness is associated with not being punished? And he's saying, I can forgive you, but you won't be punished, but the generations after you could be punished. Is that what he's saying?
What we see there are the attributes of the Most High.
Right.
This don't necessarily have to do with what Israel did anymore. This is the Most High pronouncing his attributes as a covering, as a shield, as a buffer between the glory that's passing by and Moses. And so the Most High here that's passing before him is proclaiming the character, the qualities, the attributes of himself as his glory is going by.
So where does but by no means leaving unpunished come in with all of those good attributes. So
I mean, these are things of the Most High. So he's a just Elohim.
Okay,
And so he deals with things in a proper way. So things that need to be dealt with, he deals with those things. He don't let those things that need to be dealt with go unpunished. It's kind of like a fact about him. And so when there are things that need to be dealt with, because of who he is, he deals with those things. I think that's what he's saying. He is a type of being that deals with, he doesn't let things not be dealt with. I think that's the point that he's saying.
I'm going to add too, when you look at, he said he's watching over love and commitment for thousands, forgiving crookedness and transgression and sin. To be forgived, what do you got to do first?
you have to repent.
You got to repent. So that's for the world to repent. It says, but by no means leaving unpunished, visiting the crookedness of the fathers. So crookedness is unrepentant. So the crookedness got to be dealt with. And so it's going to visit from the fathers to the children until that is dealt with.
Okay, then that's where,
Then that's when that first part, the forgiving, the crookedness and transgression can be it can be applied. You can be forgiven.
It's like he's giving you the good part and the bad part. I can forgive you of your iniquity, but if you stay in your iniquity, that iniquity gonna be on you. Iniquity, or crookedness, is a continuance of transgression. When you're in transgression, when you're in iniquity, you're continually transgressing. Your way of life is transgression. And so he's able to forgive iniquity, but he's also able to visit those who are in their iniquity and judge them for it. Hold on a second.
How did this divine punishment, I want to understand, he forgives us, but we still have to suffer divine punishment? Am I confusing that?
I think as far as what this is talking about over here, is dealing with the idea of his attributes. So the Most High is able, part of his attributes is to forgive iniquities and transgression and sin, which when you look at those in the Hebrew, is every part of sin. He's able to deal with all of it. But as Elder brought up, you receive forgiveness for those things with repentance, right? But if you don't have repentance, then you don't have forgiveness. And so he don't leave that unpunished for those who are unrepentant. So if you're repentant, you get the forgiveness. But if those things aren't, he won't leave unpunished those who are in iniquity. If you're on the right side of things, iniquity is not an issue for you. But if you're on the wrong side of things, then it is. And so that divine punishment is for those on the outside. And he's just giving here what his characteristics are, because as the true and living Elohim, who is the creator and sustainer of all things, he deals in things justly, and so he won't leave those unpunished who haven't properly dealt with the wrong that they've done.
Thank you.
But I would say that even within that, there's mercy. Because he could say, I'm just going to punish you for the rest of your generation.
Yes.
But
Which,
even
yes.
within that, there's
There's a
a
cutoff.
cutoff point.
Right, because he could say forever.
Time
But he said, those that are in iniquity, I could visit you unto the children and the children's children and the third and the fourth generation. But he stops. He didn't say like to 10th generation, which typically is a picture of not stopping. And so there's a cutoff point for those that are on the outside, right? All right, is there anything else?
When I think about all of this, I always think about Joshua too. We read that, he was saying the presence of Yah was on the outside of the camp. And the fact that Joshua was out there as well.
Yeah.
And Moses would go back and deal with the people, but he would just leave Joshua back.
Yeah. And when you think about it, technically speaking, if the Most High is saying to tell the people, y'all stay out, get your animals out, get your people out, don't come past this line. And then Joshua will go past the line. He be over there. He be in the place where he ain't supposed to be at. But he good though because he's really right. Right? And so technically speaking, he's crossing the line. But because he's right, I'm saying righteous. Because he's right, he's able to receive that mercy and that grace. Right? He gets those privileges that he's not necessarily even supposed to get. Because the Most High said to tell Moses to tell the people, don't let these people come across this little section right here. Meanwhile, Joshua will be over there, which is the character of the Most High, his mercy. He shows mercy whom he wants to show mercy to. But it makes sense in what he's doing it. It's just not willy-nilly. Joshua, he proves his rightness by the fact that he's the one who takes over for Moses. Okay.
Also, I can't remember. Is this where, maybe it's in Numbers though, whenever there's always that whole transfer between the priesthood of the firstborn to the priesthood of the Levite, the little priesthood. I believe this is the beginning of that transfer.
Yeah. Yes, because of this whole situation where you have the Levites who really step into their role. The Most High said that they would be this set apart tribe to minister in the office of the priest. And then when Moses comes and makes this separation of the peoples based on saying who's going to be on the Most High side, and then they're the ones who step into that place. Where we always talk about the fact that Levi don't have an inheritance, but in all actuality, they have more. They have a part of all of the places where the people are, because of their role as being that intermediator between the people and the Most High.
And they get the best cuts of the meat.
I know. All right, great.
There was a comment. We missed
What?
it.
It says, it's consequences of your actions. Although you're forgiven when you repent, you still deal with the consequences of your former actions. Living in the land of captivity for ancestral sin is an example.
Oh, she's talking about the whole, yeah. And so, that's another thing. Like it's kind of two separate things when you think about consequences of sin and actual sin or judgment. of sin. Like I could be forgiven of sin, but I still got to deal with what I did. Like David. David, you know, he's the apple of the Most High's eye. And he kept that position. But the sword never left his house. He was forgiven from what he did, but there was definite consequences that came along with what he had done. And so it's to me it's two different things, consequences and the actual, you know, you're forgiven, but it don't take away the fact that, like if you think about somebody who accidentally kills someone, like you're not, according to the Torah, you yourself aren't going to die, but you better stay in the place where you're supposed to stay, in the city of refuge. Because if you go outside of the city of refuge, the blood avenger couldn't get you. And that's just a consequence of you just accidentally killing someone. Right? If you stay in the city of refuge, you're fine. But if you step outside of that, then you're going to have to deal with the consequences of your actions. And so you can have forgiveness, but consequences is a whole other situation.
So could you say that the forgiveness is a part of Yah, but the results of my actions exist because the actions are in a different realm? The actions are
They can be. Like say for instance, you know, if you commit a sin, like if you take something from me, you can apologize for it, right? And you could even get me a new thing and replace it. But it's not that thing, the thing that you took it was that thing. And so the thing can be replaced, but the fact that thing is I can never have it back. It was my favorite thing that you took. You gave me another one, and then you put 5% on top. But it's still, so you repaired, you fixed the situation, but at the same time, what you did, the consequences, it can't never be replaced. We're good with each other, everything is square, we're fine, but there's still something that happened that can't be reversed. And so, you know, the consequences, I think, is a separate thing. Yes, like you said, they kind of exist in different arenas. All right. Okay, let us move on from there. I like talking about this situation, even though the golden calf situation was kind of this serious situation. The way that everything is rectified, you know, is one of my most favorite parts of the whole Exodus journey.